All right, here we go. Fuel your body and focus your mind with Jocko Fuel. Save 10% when you use promo code Reyes Reflection. What is up, peeps? Welcome back to another fantastic episode of the Reyes Reflection podcast. Now, if you don't hear the same honey in my voice, that's because your boy has a little bit of a cold, but he used some Afrin. But we're here. We're always free to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Like, comment, share. That's how we're going to grow. Word of mouth moves faster than wildfire. And follow me on the socials at I'm Nathanael Reyes. Some love to the partners, Mad Rabbit Skincare Products, BYOB and save when you use promo code Reyes Reflection, and Jocko Fuel, clean raw ingredients, use code, you guessed it, Reyes Reflection. And my newest partnership for all you card collectors, ARave Cards. ARave Cards is your main hub to complete or start your Pokemon card collection. Check out their eBay and Facebook page to get yourself started. Now, on to the introduction of my guest. She can be described as many things, so I'm going to do my best to sum it all up. She can be described as a musician, a wife, a contestant of season 23 of The Voice, in her words, a little brown girl in a big old world.
Amen.
I also heard from a semi-reliable source that she can be called a crochet enthusiast. So without further ado, the lovely Tasha Jessen, welcome to the pod.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here. Who told you about the crochet?
I have sources.
You have your sources? What?
I do. Are my sources correct?
Yes, it's crazy because I literally just started it, so I have no idea how you found out.
Okay. All right. Nathaniel's sources are correct.
Yes, they go deep.
That's like sewing, right? I could be wrong. What? Like, talk to me about that. What is that?
It's not like sewing, but if you have like a hook and it's just a yarn, you really need two things, and you just start making things. It's crazy.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I don't think I would have the patience or the dexterity to do that. I feel like I struggle, but yeah. Shout out to your husband.
Okay, he's the one that told you that. Okay, makes sense. Because I was like, I just started that. Who would have told you that?
Yeah. Credible source. Okay.
Credible source. He is a very credible source. He does live with me.
There you go. Right. then we would have been in trouble if he was incorrect.
Right.
So we talked off camera about this. It is Christmas time. This episode will actually be distributed next week before Christmas. So with that being said, I want to do a little something fun. So hold on one second.
Let's do it. Oh my gosh. I feel like I need my Santa hat.
I have. If you want to grab your Santa hat, you most definitely can. I mean, I'm the Grinch. You're Santa.
Yeah, I do like Grinch better. I'm not gonna lie.
I know, right?
I'm a Grinch.
I'm gonna adjust the camera so the visual audience can see.
So good. That's so good.
Target special. Target special.
Love it.
All right, awesome. So now we'll get rolling with the pod. Now I have a joke for you. Why are Christmas trees so bad at knitting?
Why?
Oh, you didn't even want to try? Okay. They're always dropping their needles.
Funny. But knee slapper. Dang. You got the jokes, man.
I do.
I don't have Christmas jokes ready. Sorry.
That's okay. I wanted to tie in Christmas and your love for crochet. That's where.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. That was a good one.
Okay. Yeah. A little bit more backstory to that, other than me just saying a corny dad joke.
Yeah. Now that I know better, it's fun. I get it.
Yeah. So obviously you had some great recognition from your time on The Voice, getting to the playoffs, which we will definitely get to. But I want to learn a little bit more about you before we get rolling with that. So you have a pretty compelling story growing up in Pakistan and how you got to the States. So let's talk about your upbringing and how you got here to the U.S.
Yeah, so it's actually a really long story, but we're going to shorten it as much as we can. I grew up in Pakistan until I was about 13, and then due to some religious persecutions and some unforeseen circumstances, we just had to leave Pakistan and move to Thailand, which is a country that actually provides refuge to displaced refugees. It ended up being the closest place that we could go to, the place that would give us visa, and so that's where we ended up. Uh, Ended up, getting sponsored through a church in Canada that was able to bring us to Canada and to our permanent placement. But in 5 years in Thailand, I met my husband, and he's from Colorado. And so we had all these processes going on in the middle. And so I ended up moving to the States eventually after I had already been in Canada. Because the immigration process is just long. You can never, put a time on it. So I got here September 2021 after a long, long time of waiting.
How old were you when you first had to leave your home country?
I was about 13. I had just celebrated my 13th birthday.
Okay. So you had celebrated your 13th birthday, and
Yes.
then you were told, hey, listen, everything you knew and loved, we got to leave, and we have to go ahead and start a new life in a different country.
Yeah, well, my parents didn't even tell me that. They were like, we're going on vacation. And we were like, yes. And then the vacation turned into 5 years, and they were like, okay, so this is what's actually happening. So we didn't know at first, but to me, it was like, oh, we're going on vacation. But my parents were like, you want to say bye to your friends. And so we didn't really understand at the time. They didn't tell us a lot just to protect us and, protect what we had with our friends and our family. So I didn't know at the time, but I knew when it was a year into our vacation, and I was like, so when are we going back? So that's when my parents kind of let me into the whole story. But yeah.
Wow. So that must have been a really... It's tough because it's like you didn't know, really. You didn't know, but looking back, that must have been a pretty tough experience because I think of myself, humans are naturally, they love comfortability. They love being in one spot.
Yes.
So just naturally, you uprooting your life to a lot of excitement because you think you're going on a trip and you're going on a vacation, but then it turns out that it's almost a near permanent vacation. So that just must have been a real challenge for you and your family. Do you have siblings? Like, where do you fall in line?
I'm the oldest kid. And then I have a now 19-year-old sister. She's the middle one. And then our youngest brother is now turning 18. So when that was happening, they were still pretty little. So they had no idea. So I was the oldest one, 13-year-old, just kind of carrying everything, the weight of like us not going back and us being littles. And also I was a teenager who had just like found her place in school and, found like friends and found family and people that I loved. And so it was really hard. It was really hard to just like uproot your entire life, all that you love and and something that, like you said, you're comfortable with. I'm very much like, I have a hard time with change. And it's funny because my life is all about change. So I have a really hard time like letting go and losing people because I get really, really attached. I'm an extroverted person. And so it was really hard leaving everything behind and carrying the weight as the oldest kid of like trauma, really. So
I can relate to that. I can empathize because before I was even the age of 10, I think I moved maybe 12 times, and I think that helped me in other aspects, but it hurt me. Whereas I was able to talk to anybody, which is why I think it's so helpful with this podcast, how I'm able to just meet anybody and they're my best friend in an hour span. But then it also made me have a hard time maintaining and sustaining longevity friendships. And because I was so accustomed to, no, we're going to have to leave. We're going to have to be done. Our time is over. And it got to a point where it was like, this is too long now. I'm spending too much time with you. So how do I distance myself away from this to prevent anything, especially now as an adult, which I think it's hard for adults to make friends. We can go down that rabbit hole at another day because there's a lot of studies. But in your case, shout out to your parents because the fact that they were able to protect you all from something that was very tragic. But you never even realized it. In your head, you thought that it was something so positive. So I think that shows who they are as individuals because they're able to express their that positive message,
Yeah,
despite the fact that it was a negative circumstance.
right, right. And they did a great job in explaining everything and, you know, uh, not letting us remember like the super intense details that were probably going to scar us for the rest of our life. And, you know, still keeping this positive attitude of, yeah, like we're totally gonna make it to the next spot. Like, yeah, what do you need? How can we help you? And how can we love you? And so it was all a part of that. And so I'm very grateful for how they kind of treated the situation, praying for positive things and, still maintaining a family aspect. Like we didn't really like disengage or disassociate with each other after moving and after having this hard transition of like, oh, like we don't have a place to live anymore. But still our parents were very much involved in our life and then very much involved in, you know, family activities and things like that to keep us kind of just like, oh, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. So yes, they were amazing through all of that. But yeah, it's really hard when you move a lot and then you are still like right now. I feel like I've in my life I've just moved so much and I've just had so much change that I'm so like on the go all the time. And now that I've been here in Colorado for almost 3 years next year, I'm like, I'm trying to leave. Like, where are we going next? Because
Does it feel hard to stay settled?
it is. It is because you're still, right? Like you're not panicking about where do I need to go next? Where do I find my home next?
Yeah.
How do I get to my next destination? You're not worrying about that. I'm not worrying about immigration, anything like that. I'm now that I'm still, I have to like think about all the change that I have experienced, all the traumatic things that I have had in my life. Now I have to process them. And so that's the good thing about being still, but it's so hard when that's not what your life has been before. So we're working through it. It's a long journey. It's a long journey.
If this is too personal, you don't have to answer. Do you have citizenship in the U.S. now?
Not yet.
So you're still working at it.
Yes. Still working on it behind the scenes. Uh, but as soon as, that's done, it'll be just such a relief because it's a long, long process and it's really hard to, in the midst of like all the other things that are happening in your life, you also have to think about, oh, like I need to still keep working on something that I've been working for 3 years, like I've been working on a long time.
I get it. I think my father first started on a work visa.
Yeah.
I still think to this day he is still not because he has failed the test. And it stinks because he's been living in the States. I'm 30 now, so he's been
Yeah.
living in the States since I want to say 33, 34 years, something like that. And he has a
Wow.
hard time. And I remember one time he showed me one of the tests, and even I had a hard time answering these questions. And I was like,
Hmm.
man, I was just born here. So I can't imagine someone who has never been here. And now they have to learn everything from the
It's
time that we were developed
Yeah,
to
it is.
present day.
I have to learn like everything. I mean, like my English is not a problem. Like I can make my way around that. Like that's not a problem. It's just like all the meticulous, like when was this happening? What year was this? Or what year was that? And like all the presidents. And I'm like, I don't know all of that. So I have to learn all of that.
It's a full on history test.
It'll be a history lesson. I'll be back in school again, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I'm positive about it.
I love the positive attitude.
Yeah, yeah. It's because something that's it's only because I've been working on it for so long, and I'm like, I better get this because it's the last step.
You're like, I'm going to get this. You will. You will.
I will. I'm very hopeful about it.
I want to circle back to you needing to leave for religious persecutions. Was it Christianity? Like what was your family practicing that had to be where you were outcasted in that environment?
So we're a Christian family, and as long as my family can remember, we have been practicing Christianity, and so um, it's just hard. There's hatred everywhere, everywhere in the world, and um, we just happen to be in front of it in Pakistan, and so it was just it's very, very hard, and it's still a problem in Pakistan to this day, and people still struggle with it to this day, and there's so much violence and extremism depending on what side of the spectrum you fall on. So
So there's bigotry and hate crimes all over, not
Mm-hmm.
just. I think that sometimes can get lost,
Yeah.
especially being in the USA as long as I've been. I think sometimes you turn on the TV, you hear something that happened in East, you know what, and now you're like, oh wow, it's so close to home.
Yeah.
Whereas it's hard because per populace, a lot of Americans really don't travel outside of the country as to places like that. So, is there a particular story that you remember in which you did feel that persecution or you were
Mm-hmm.
mistreated differently because you were a Christian? I'm just curious because
Mm-hmm.
we're in the USA, which started off as a Christian country, as of course, but we're
Mm-hmm.
now the melting pot. So now we have a bunch of different religions and cultures. I'm a Christian as well, so I'm just
Mm-hmm.
curious as do you have any stories because it's hard for me to think about it that way, but it's true. There are other countries that do practice other religions, and I can't just assume that just because I'm a Christian, I grew up a Christian, and I know a lot of other Christians that Christianity is the one that's the safest. It's really not. So I'm just curious.
Right. No, it's really not. Yeah, so I experienced a lot of it at school actually, because I was the one Christian girl in school in a private international school. So I was a very easy target there. And like, I couldn't drink from the regular fountain, or kids won't let me drink out of their bottle. And if I asked why, they were like, "Oh, it's because you're a Christian and you're bad." And it's just something that was taught to kids, honestly. Like, because how how is an 8-year-old telling me that? Tell me that. Riddle me that, okay? Because 8-year-olds cannot just say stuff like that. It's taught. And, or I would, I remember one time I was going to the bathroom and we didn't really have a privacy, like how there's like privacy walls in between
Oh, the installs, yeah.
and stalls, like, so we had girls' stalls like over here, and then we had like the guys' stalls, and there was a sink that you would go wash your hands in the middle with no like privacy. And so I remember um, taking a bathroom break and going to the bathroom and washing my hands, and these two kids come over to me and they like pushed me into the sink, and I was like, now what was that for? And they were like, it's because you're a Christian and it's because you're bad. And I also just got bullied because I was darker than normal kids. Um, and so I got bullied because of my color. And so I remember those moments of like that. I remember those two things very, very vividly. And I remember one time my sister, her best friend, called my mom, and she was like, "Hey, like, why I actually can't be friends with your daughter anymore because you guys are Christian, and that's bad." And she was like maybe 6, and so
So these kids would flat out say because you're a Christian. Like that's what they would say.
yeah, it was very, very normal phrase. Yeah,
You're gonna hear no arguments on my end. That is completely true in the sense of
yeah,
that has to have been taught. There's no
yeah,
way that children are innocent. The purity of children is very innocent. So there's no way that a child is gonna wake up
yeah.
and have just that much hatred in their
A,
heart
a
unless it's
6-year-old is
taught
not
to
going to
them.
say that.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. That wow. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing about all that.
of course.
So you fled to Thailand. Talk to me about Thailand then. Talk to me about that transition.
Amazing. I mean, it was a really fun thing at first. Like we were like, "Oh my gosh," like we had never been on a plane before. And so it was our first time being on a plane for so long. We didn't sleep because we were so excited, and got to Thailand, and we were in this new country, new smells, all these fun things. And then slowly we were like, "Okay, like we don't understand anybody," because Thailand, they don't a lot of them don't speak English. If you're not going to like a very tourist city, they're not going to know English. Like most people do not speak English. And so that was like, it's just a normal thing. It was just a very much like, oh my gosh, culture shock. And then I remember going to the corner store with my dad, and my dad had to literally pretend like a chicken, and like there was an egg coming out of him for him to tell them that he needed an egg. And because they couldn't understand, he was like, "I need eggs," and they were like, "We don't know what you're talking about." So just like little things like that. It was really fun at first, but then we were like, "Okay, this is hard. This is harder than we thought." And as kids, it started to become a little bit harder because we weren't going into school. And I was asking my parents, like, hey, like, why aren't we going to school? And they didn't really have an answer for it. We were in a refugee camp, like, we weren't going to school. So, yeah.
So Thailand, they didn't speak English, so the language barrier was hard to communicate. In
Yes.
Pakistan, did you all speak English?
Most people, it's shocking because most people do know how to speak. Like, you can get by. You know what I mean? Like, if you
Really?
go,
Okay.
yeah, because in our schools, they try and teach you English because you'll use it at some point in your life, which is really nice. And that's how I know English. And so we spoke English and uh, native languages. So,
So you were taught a baseline where I think a lot of people. So you already had a head start because I think a lot of people who, when they migrate to the U.S. and to the States, they struggle
mhm,
with that because they don't, more often than not, they haven't spoken English ever, and
mhm,
so
mhm.
now they're learning it, and it's such a tough language to learn. It's just there's so many rules and contingencies, and you use this and this and this, and even myself, I have a hard time trying to make sense of it.
I talk about this all the time. I talk about this all the time. I speak four languages in total.
What are the four?
So I speak English, Urdu, Punjabi, and I know my mom's like provincial language. I used to be completely fluent in Arabic because I had to learn it in school, but I can't immediately like get to it anymore. I'll probably get like if I was around people that spoke Arabic all the time, I'd be okay. But yeah, and so out of all of those languages, and I can get by in Spanish, but out of all those languages, English is the silliest one.
It
I
is,
English is so dumb. There's so
and
many
it's the
rules.
hardest.
It's the hardest.
You're right. Like, why are there all these rules? Why is even the rule? I try to say this to myself all the time. I try to say I comes before E except after C,
Hmm.
and then I'll see a word, and that's not the case. So I'm like, wait, what? Like I thought that was a rule that was taught to me, and I even said that I comes before E and except after C, and I would say it over and over, and now that's not true. So the English language is a lie. Everything's a lie.
Everything's a lot. And I like for us in Urdu and all my other languages I know, there's one word for things. Like if you want to apologize, you just say apologize. You do not say, we don't have like a sorry or something, or we don't have pardon or whatever else
Yep.
synonyms y'all got in here. But
Or how about this one? My bad.
my bad. You're right. Like there's so many different variations of one word, and I'm like, we need to just figure out one because four is a bit too much.
I agree. It's the same with my father. My father hails from a Spanish speaking country, and
Fun.
same thing. He says in Spanish, it's like you know, it's either there's not hot, they're warm. It's just hot, like or it's yeah, it's just like that's hot, and and then even like now here in the States, we can say something's hot, but we mean spicy, and spicy means something. Spicy
Something
has
else.
a legit word there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And or if you say hot, Maverick and I usually like if we're saying, I'm like, oh, this is so hot, and he's like, hot as in spicy or hot as in the temperature hot. And I'm like, there needs to be one. Okay.
and then of course there's saying it as a compliment.
Right.
Apparently, like that's
Right.
yeah.
It's so difficult. And so I'm so glad that I learned as a kid because if I was learning it right now, I would have a really, really hard time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's completely hard. I even myself, like I said, sometimes I'll read something and I'll be so confused about it and I go, "Wait, did I ever actually learn this as a child?" Like
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just throw my hands up and I'm like, "Okay, I at least I know how to talk." There you
Yeah.
go.
No,
That's
I
enough.
literally sometimes have to tell Maverick, I'm like, I can't talk in English anymore. Like, I need a
Yeah.
break. And so I will call my mom and I'll start talking to her. But yeah, America's just, they're trying to be extra all the time. I'm not gonna lie.
I would have to concur. We are very extra. Ve- w-
And yeah, I'm like, we can have one thing. We can all share a thing.
we are a
Okay.
very extra country. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like we really are. I agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's switch gears. So present day,
Hmm.
you're in Colorado. how's life out there? You live with your husband Maverick.
Yes.
You two met. You said you met in church. I believe was that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How's life right now for you two? How's it adjusting? How are things of that nature?
We love Colorado. He's from Colorado, so um, it was an adventure for me to get here. You know, we've been waiting for a long time, and he's been waiting to show me Colorado for a long time. So it's been such an adventure. I have an insanely amazing community here, um, just at church and everything in general. We're currently worship leaders at our church, so um, doing that and making music here and working. I honestly, I I do love it here. I said all this stuff about America, but I love living in Colorado. I mean, I wake up to like Pikes Peak every morning and to gorgeous mountains, gorgeous sunsets. So I'm a very nature person. So this Colorado is perfect for me. I just don't
Yeah,
like the cold. The cold is crazy.
I have heard that it's really cold. I've never been.
Yeah, it is.
Is there there's a Boulder, Colorado, right?
Yes, there is.
And then is there a Dinosaur, Colorado?
Funny.
Is
I see
there?
what you. No, there's not. No, funny though.
Okay, I thought there was.
There's no dinosaurs in Colorado.
So, um, but landscape very beautiful. The aesthetics is very beautiful. So
Gorgeous.
those are some positives about it. But unfortunately, it is very cold. So to the person like myself who's never been to Colorado, give me a quick sales pitch, one sentence on why I need to make a trip out there.
Uh, Colorado is beautiful in the summer. It's perfect weather. People are very, very nice. You have great food here. You have hiking, you can go up the peak. You want to go look at water, you can go to the reservoir. Okay. You want hot tub, we got hot springs. We got everything. You're into motorbike or riding, we got riding. You're into dirt bike riding, you also got dirt bike riding. Okay, we got everything. You're still trying to ski in the summer, we got that as well. Anytime.
Okay. So for a week in the summer, I got to make a trip to Colorado. What about a week in
Yes.
the winter?
That's if you're trying to ski. I'm not gonna lie. I'm I'm not a winter
Or freeze
Colorado
my
person.
tail end off?
Oh my gosh, it's so cold. I've always lived in like warm temperatures, and so Canada and Colorado was really hard for me. Colorado still in wintertime is really hard for me.
So it's rapidly approaching.
Yes, yes.
Let's switch gears a little bit. Talk to me about how you got into music then.
Yeah. I mean, music, I feel like, I mean, my dad jokes about how I came out singing, like from the day I was born. And so when I was like 3, my dad started teaching me how to sing, and we would just be in the car, and he'd just be like playing drums on the steering wheel, and he would teach me line by line, melody by melody.
Typical
Like
dad.
he's so cool. I love him so much. And so he would teach me like that going to school, every time we were in the car, every time we were at home, like we would watch singing shows, talent shows like that. So there was music happening my entire childhood. I mean, he handed me a microphone when I was about 3 at church. I mean, I think it was muted because it would have been really bad if I was 3 and I was singing in the microphone, but it was like since I was very, very little. And my uncle is a musician, my dad was a musician, my mom was a musician. So like it's always been in our family.
So it's like rooted in your family.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm not a good singer. I don't want to make people's ears bleed because I
No,
think
you're
unfortunately I
good.
would do so.
You're
I,
good.
I love singing. I love to sing. I stink at it. So most of my
That's
time,
okay.
my jam sessions are alone in my car. You know what I mean?
By yourself in silence.
By myself. Yes, yes.
That's
And
okay.
I have to make sure I'm on a desolate road where nobody can pull up next to me and really see
Right,
me jam. Yes.
right, right. Well, the Bible says make a joyful noise unto the Lord. So,
I was saying that the other day. I was saying,
yeah,
in the Bible it calls for us to dance actually a lot, and I'm like, we
yeah,
should be dancing.
yeah,
Life should be joyous and happy and
absolutely.
loving. And so I was actually saying that the other day. I was like, yeah, the Bible literally says that we need to be dancing. And I think
Yes.
people think that that's silly, but I'm like, no, it's amazing to dance. When's the last time you danced and you just realized that it's fun? And I'm
Oh,
like,
I dance all the time. I
Same,
dance all the
same.
time. I'm a very like outgoing, um, just I love dancing. I love singing. I love having a good time with my friends, and so we're always jumping up and down and dancing and just having a good time. Like I'm very much into living life.
You said that your father handed you a microphone when you were little. I wanted to ask this while we were talking about your family.
Mhm.
Where do they live? How often do you see them?
Yeah. My parents are in Canada. So when we moved from Thailand to Canada, they are still in Canada. I was the only one that ended up moving, so my family is still there. I haven't seen them since 2021, and that was when I moved. So I am very excited to see them soon. I don't know when that'll be, but hopefully sooner rather than later. But I talk to them every day. I mean, I talked to my mom this morning and my dad this morning, and so we're always in contact. We have a very just close, like my mother and I are super close, and so we're always that woman is always texting me and random things on WhatsApp. So I love her. She keeps me posted. She's my little gossip news.
The power of technology.
Yes,
In that aspect, it's beautiful. So
yes. She had to learn it. She was really confused when she first started to learn it, but she realized how much it helped her. She's a very much introverted extrovert, and so she has like three people that she needs to be in contact with all the time. So she learned for us.
good for her. Yeah, no, yeah. It's so hard to learn the technology. Sometimes I find that it's just so challenging for even myself. I'm like I'm trying, and when you try to look it up on YouTube and you see like for a phone setting or something, and then I realize I have low attention span because the guy goes, "Hi, my name's Mike, and and I'm
Right.
like, no, 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 no," and I end up wasting more time trying to scroll and find what I
Right.
need than I would just watch the videos. So
I just be Googling everything. I'm not gonna lie. How to yada 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 and how to like Google is my best friend.
I did that today. I said, "How do I?" I realized that I could play my PlayStation 5 on my iPad, and I go, "How do I pair the remote onto the iPad?" Yeah, so I did
That's
it
so
earlier today.
cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. It is really cool. Like I said,
Wow.
in those aspects, I love technology.
I'm so glad you're a PS5 person and you did not just say Xbox.
Are you a PS5 person as well? Okay. All right. Good. So we can remain friends then.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, absolutely. If you say Xbox, no.
If I said Xbox, the interview might have ended.
Like,
All right.
so I gotta go, actually. I'm just kidding.
Oh, by the way, sorry. I gotta go play my PlayStation 5. You can play your
Yeah,
subpar system.
you can play your mediocre controller, okay?
I've never been an Xbox person. My stepfather
Uh-huh.
tried to instill that into us. My stepfather is very strong about two things: Xbox and Pepsi. And those two things,
Oh,
he will die on the hill that they are better than their.
are both incorrect.
Yes, they both
Yeah,
are incorrect. Yes.
yes.
All right.
Wow.
Be bold, be you. Tattoo skincare made easy with Mad Rabbit Tattoo Aftercare. Save 20% when you use promo code Reyes Reflection. Now that we've switched locations, we had some technical issues, we figured it out.
Yes.
When did getting on The Voice become a reality for you and an opportunity that you were going to truly pursue?
I don't think it became real for me, like ever, honestly.
Even though
Because
you're wearing Team Nile
I'm
sweatshirt
wearing
right
a
now.
Team Nile hoodie right now. Where is it? I'm wearing a Team Nile hoodie right now. But I don't think it became real. I think it was just such a far-fetched idea for me as a person who has dreamed of doing something like that. And coming from a very, very removed country from things like that, I just never really thought that I would get to that point. And so it never really became real. That's why when I met Niall for the first time, for example, I was like, I can't tell if you're real, dog. Like,
I feel like when you see those people live,
hmm
it's almost unreal. Like you're like, there's no possible way that they're standing in front of me right now.
no, I told Niall that too multiple times. He like hugged me for the first time, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're real. Like, that's the first thing I said to him. I was like, I feel like this is not real. That's all I remember, like telling him over and over again. And I was like, I'm so thankful. Like, wow, this is insane. And like, I think I blacked out for most of it, but I remember saying like, oh my gosh, this isn't real. Like, you aren't real. And he was talking to me, and I was like, this is so strange to me. When you watch people on TV growing up, I watched, like, I was a big fan of One Direction I'm still am, for so long. For so freaking long. And then he was in front of me, and I was like, don't, this is not real to me.
Yeah, it has to be something like I was a big NSYNC guy, so I would be very starstruck if Justin Timberlake was standing in front of me. I
I'm
would
talking to you.
and talking to me and having a conversation and coaching me, giving
Right,
me a hug, telling me that I was
right.
awesome and all this other stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be a surreal moment. If there's ever Justin Timberlake, if you ever do hear this, I would love that opportunity. No,
I was an NSYNC girl at some point. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I loved NSYNC. Yeah, I was a
Yeah.
big NSYNC fan.
Did you see that they're like kind of low key back? I can't really figure it out yet.
I know. Yeah, they had some TikTok and they did some sort of commercial. I'm still trying to figure it
Hmm.
out. Like,
They did
I,
hot ones. It was so much fun to watch.
yeah, I'm waiting for the big announcement.
Full comeback.
There is gonna be a big announcement. When and where, I'm not sure, but I will definitely be there. Yeah, and
Nathaniel will be present. Okay.
Nathaniel will be present. I
Will be
used
present.
to I'm saying that sternly. I used to make my mom stay in the car because you kids, we didn't have Apple Music. We just
Right.
heard the song on the radio. So if
Right.
it played and we got home, or if we were at like the
Stay in the
supermarket, I
car.
would say, "No, mom, we're sitting in the car listening to the entire
We're
NSYNC
finishing
song."
this song, Mom.
Yes,
Relax. Don't get it
because
twisted.
I might not hear it again till that Thursday.
Right.
If it was on Sunday, I'm not hearing it 4 days.
Right.
Now you can hear it for 4 days straight. Back
Now
then
you
you
can
could only hear
stream
it
it.
every 4 days. Yeah,
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
that's wild, the difference and all that. Yeah. I
yeah,
grew up watching them on like YouTube and everything, but it's weird.
yeah.
It's so weird for them to stand there and be like, "Yeah, Tasha, I've been wanting you since day one." And I was like, "What? What do you mean?"
Well, let's talk about that because you initially chose Blake
I
over
did.
Niall, even though
I
Niall did press
did.
his button. Why did you make that decision?
I don't really know. Okay. It was Blake's last season, and I have loved everyone on Blake's team in previous seasons, and he's a really, really seasoned coach, right? Like he's been on that show for a long time. He knows what he's doing. He's been in the industry for long and has still stayed relevant. To me, like it was Niall's first season, and I was like, the rookie could either take it all, which he did,
Yeah,
or stay a rookie. And with Blake, I just felt more confident with Blake for some reason. And like I had prayed before, and I was like, Lord, this is what I want to hear. And I wanted to hear, I want you to do what you want to do, and I'm only there to support it. And Blake said something along the lines of that. And I was like, ding, 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 that's it. So there are multiple, variables to it, but I have loved like Blake's personality and how he is with, his team. And I think Niall was almost like too unreal and crazy for me that I didn't pick Niall because I was like, I can't believe that he's in front of me right now, and he wants me to be on his team. I think that was also part of me not picking Niall.
you were so starstruck
I
that
was.
you physically could not pick Niall.
I physically, and he like gave me a hug after, and I was like, no, okay, stay away from me. I do not think you're real. But yeah, it was, I think part of that was also it. I was just like, I don't know if I want to go with you. I feel like I will just not do anything, you know?
Completely lose track of thought, my singing, my train of thought, my train of performance, just because I'm so starstruck. I kind of know what you mean because a couple summers ago I met my favorite reality TV star, and for the first 20 seconds I couldn't even get anything out. I had a hard time. I had a hard time, and it
Yeah.
was like in person on a beach. Like it wasn't like it was like
Now, who is this reality TV star?
his name is Johnny Bananas.
I want to know who this is.
It's on my Instagram. I'll send you the picture. I'll send you the picture.
Okay,
But yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, I met him, and I had a hard time getting a word out. And then I'll show you the video too. He's like dapping me, hugging me, putting his arm on me, and I kind of
I'd
you
freak
could
out.
see
I'd freak out.
that I'm cheesing the whole time, and that I like.
Right.
There's nothing I can say. My face is getting a little red because I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm going on a date, but with someone who
100%.
I truly love. Yeah,
100%. I
yeah.
feel like Niall, after he gave me a hug and stuff, I went like down, once you exit the stage after your blind audition. I feel so bad about this, but the first thing I told my husband was, "Oh my God, Niall is so cute and he smells so good." It was so bad.
Your
It was
husband's like, yeah, but look,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. He was like, I mean, he was just as much excited. I mean, there's so much adrenaline. Right, like I had just sang a song, people had pushed their buttons, and I was just like on a high. You really almost do black out for it. It's crazy.
your husband goes, yeah, he actually does smell really good, and he is cute.
It
Like,
does. He is cute. You're so right.
he like confirms
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone talked about it on the season too. It was a big thing on the season. So
that everyone thought, yeah, that he's a pretty dapper individual. I do get that.
yes,
I do hear that a lot.
yes.
I interviewed someone from this season a couple weeks
Hmm.
ago, and that was something she said. She said I would have chosen Niall for sure, selfish
Yeah.
reasons, because he's a dapper man. Yeah.
He's a dapper man, and he's just such a sweet, kind, genuine human. Like seriously, so down to earth.
And he follows you. He follows you on all your socials.
See, I still can't believe that. Every time I go
Yeah.
on my thing and I see Niall Horn liked, and I'm like, what are you doing? And like, go do other things. Like, don't you have singing to do? Like,
Yeah, like there's no way that Niall Horan just liked my picture.
yeah, it's just so like weird. It feels so strange because you see these celebrities, right? Like the society makes these people like idols and celebrities. And so I'm like,
Yeah, bigger than life. Yeah.
bigger than life. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, now why is Niall Horn liking my pictures?
Yeah.
You
But he
know,
did. He
but
did.
he's so sweet. He's so sweet.
Yeah. Let's move forward in your time on the show. So
Hmm.
you did your battles, you won, you looked lovely, you sang amazingly. Blake
Thank
chose
you.
you. I think you faced EJ.
I
You
did.
beat EJ.
I love you,
And
Jay.
then on the knockouts, that's when Blake picked Noiva, but then that's
Hmm.
when Niall stole you.
Correct.
What were some things that you took leaving the show that you are now able to bring into the next chapter of your music career?
Hmm. I think I learned that I have a place in the music space, regardless of how I feel about it. I was very, very insecure going into The Voice, and I think it reflected a lot. Unfortunately, I think I let it affect a lot of my performances. Um, but you're your biggest critic. I know some people disagree, and people think that I did great, blah blah blah. But I'm very, very, self-critical, and The Voice actually taught me when Blake picked me in my battles, and then Niall stole me. I was like, okay, like I actually do belong in this space. I have a place at this table. I have my own space, and I can walk in confidence in it. And so I am still trying to bring that into my normal, musical life because I've always been insecure about my songwriting. My songwriting stays in my notes app. I don't let it get out. Okay. And so I'm now trying, Niall has not actually encouraged me a lot. He was like, I want to write with you. And I told him, I'm very insecure and blah, blah, blah. And he was very, very kind with, how he encouraged me, like you are an amazing singer, you wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be picking you and excuse me, little things like that. And so just learning that I have the same right and same space as anybody else.
And you do. And I think you did an excellent job on the show. And it doesn't define how, if you win, lose, it doesn't
Hmm.
define. I mean, look at there's been some big names that have been on the show and then got cut, or they've made it
Right.
pretty far, but they didn't win. So it doesn't mean anything. Or obviously, it does mean something to win a competition show. I'm not trying to say it doesn't, but I
Hmm.
think what makes music so different than a lot of other fields is that
Right.
there's a lot of different avenues. It's a different type of art that you can go ahead and, as long as you find your niche and who the audience that who gravitates towards your music, you can make it and you can have that
Hmm.
strong foothold. So,
Right. Right.
I mean, let's face it, there are singers that you have heard, and myself included, that were like,
Hmm.
why are they singers? But they found their niche, or they found, and
Right.
it's not that they're not talented. Just maybe sometimes I hear a song and I'm like, I don't like the way this person sounds, but
Yeah.
clearly they have found something right because they have been
Hmm.
able to produce that content. And so
Right.
I think that that's like anything in life. I think if you just work hard and
Hmm.
and keep pursuing what you want to pursue, then
Right.
you will ultimately get there. Now, is that something you want to do? You want to pursue music as a career?
Yes. I think it's a very hard place right now. I feel
Hmm.
like the music industry is changing a lot, and especially with how fast social media is these days.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
it's it's almost all through social media now.
right.
That's what I
And
feel like.
so
Yeah.
it's really, really difficult. But I do want to, that's the goal. Maverick and I both really want to write music and release it, and we're working on that right now. And potentially, big dreams like tour and get to places that we really want to get to with music. And so yeah, that is the goal.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be rooting for you. I'm gonna be a fan forever now, and I'm
Thank
always gonna be pulling
you.
for you. I follow you on the
Thank
socials,
you.
so I'll
Yes.
definitely be pulling for you.
Thank you. I appreciate
You
it.
ready for some burning questions while we wrap up? Then
I'm so excited. I love me a game.
I know I love burning questions. You're like,
Let's do
oh,
it.
I just
Let's
love
do
being put
it.
on the spot. Who doesn't? I'm just kidding.
I am very competitive and I love games. So I love when people ask me fun questions. So I'm here for it.
I'm the same way because I will give answers that the first that I'm thinking of. So to
All
me, I'm
right.
like, this is the best content that you can give. Yeah, no, the
You're
most
actually
authentic.
learning what's up here. So
Yeah.
I'm
All
here
right,
for
ready?
it.
Here's a burning one. As we were talking about our love for celebrities and things like that, who is a celebrity that you feel like should not be one?
It's a
Oh,
crazy question.
it's a hot take. I know, right? I started
That
off
is a
hot.
crazy question. I'm not trying to get canceled, bro. What?
Nobody's gonna get canceled. All right,
What?
do you want me to say mine first?
Yes, you go first. You go first.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't even know their names. Those two TikTok sisters. They're like sisters. They popped off in like 2020.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember their name either.
Yeah, I don't know their names, but one of them won Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, that I don't think that they should be. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be harsh. I just don't think they've done anything worth worth notability. There you go. There you go.
Bro, I think that's the same with every TikTok influencer, though. I think
Yes. Yes.
I I have a hard time like when TikTok influencers show up to like things that they're
like the
not
Met
like.
Gala. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I was like, what are you doing here? Like,
what PR team came up with this concoction and thought that it was
right.
what group got into a room and said, you know what this Met Gala of professional athletes and professional models
Models,
needs?
yes.
TikTok
TikTok
influencers.
influencers. Woohoo, they're
Yes.
gonna dance on the carpet.
That's what this needs.
No,
Like, what
I
PR team came up with that? There you go. See, so if anything, I went ahead and I put myself out there.
you put yourself out there. I think I agree. I think for me also like reality TV, but like Love Island and stuff, and like
Yeah.
Love Is Blind. Like I'm not into like okay, you went on this show to find love, and I don't know. I just don't love people that do that, and then all of a sudden they're like, I'm a celebrity, and
You went
so
on the show to find love.
to find
No.
love, right? Sure
Yeah.
you did. I'm sure
You
you
went on
did.
the show to be a hooligan and
Right. They can be like, they can be influencers and they can be notable people, but I wouldn't
yes.
consider them celebrities.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
So that's my answer.
All right, so there you go. We're kind of on the same wave path there. Okay.
Same brain.
French toast, pancakes, or waffles?
Waffles.
Waffles. Okay.
Yes.
All right. You know what? We were kind of friends. No, I'm just kidding. No.
I will die on this hill because your syrup, when you're putting syrup on your pancakes, where's the syrup going? Okay, your plate. Waffles, it's going in the little squares, and you can actually like get everything in one bite.
You're right. The waffles, the little crates inside the waffles, do
It's the
make it.
best.
Do make it. It allows it to absorb all
Right.
the
All the goodness.
all the goodness, all the goodness. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I will
No,
die on the waffle hill.
I'm actually a French toast guy. I don't know why.
Yeah, French toast. I see. I would. Oh, this is hard. See, I need to do like a top three. So I would do waffles. I
Okay.
would do.
Okay. I have a better idea. I have a better idea. Instead of just asking, all right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Eat, delete. So you're gonna get rid of one completely. Eat, delete,
Okay.
and I'm trying to think of one of like the appropriate way of doing the you know what the
Uh-huh.
three. Okay, so eat, delete, and
Tolerate, I guess.
and what?
No, no, that didn't work.
What did you say?
I just said tolerate, but you're
Oh,
not
tolerate.
eating it.
No, yeah, you're not eating it. Okay. How about this? Eat, delete, give to your best friend. Boom. I
Okay.
like that. Yeah, I like
Okay.
that. Okay.
I would definitely eat waffles.
Okay, so waffles is your eat. Which one would you
Oof.
delete?
I don't know. Oh, I'm so sorry. I think I have to say French toast.
So you're erasing French toast from history. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oops. I know. It's okay. I can let French toast go.
Okay.
It's okay.
And pancakes you would give to your friend. So it's still in the stratosphere.
I would give it to my friend because then I can still eat it. Yes, exactly.
Yep. Okay. All right. All right.
Good question. That's a hard question. I don't know why
Yeah,
that's
what?
the hardest one.
Yeah. I got another one.
Yes, go ahead.
Would you rather go a whole 24 hours without eating or a whole 24 hours without sleeping?
Well, a whole 24 hours without sleeping, bro. What?
Me too. Me too.
I am a big I was just joking about this yesterday at our youth group. I was like, my favorite thing right now is to just eat. My
That's your
friends were
favorite
like,
hobby. My favorite hobby is just eat.
I was like, my new thing right now is I just like eat and I feel really good about it and I'm so happy that I eat some more.
So are you a snacker? Are you a big snacker?
Big snacker, big snacker. Usually my bed table is like has something to snack on. My bedside table.
What's
Um,
your favorite snack?
Oh, that's so hard. I love spicy everything.
Ooh.
So for me, like I do like Takis. I like. I'm trying to think. I just honestly anything really spicy.
Have you ever tried popcorners?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Try the sweet chili popcorners. They're
Okay.
spicy and they're really good. I'll send you a picture of
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
I'm so down. I hate Doritos. So anytime someone's
Oh,
like,
me
"Oh, I
too.
love
Me too.
Doritos," I hate
Why?
Doritos.
Why would you like cardboard with seasoning on it? That's basically what it
Literally,
is.
literally, I just think they don't taste good. I don't think they have any
No.
flavor.
No. That's why I said that's
Thank
why it sounds
God.
harsh, but that's why I said it's cardboard without seasoning.
Yes. You
Yeah.
know, we are the same, Nathaniel. I'm so glad I'm doing this because I
Eh,
feel so validated right now.
You're not alone.
Usually when I say, usually when I say I don't like Doritos, everyone's like, "You don't like Doritos?" And I'm like, "It's because they're gross."
How do you not like something so American like Doritos? Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
Perfect.
No, I agree with you on that. I would rather go a whole 24 hours without sleeping because I could lock in, do some computer games, play my PS5, do something
Absolutely.
mindless for the 6, 7, 8 hours that I could be sleeping. Whereas
Yeah.
if I'm not eating for 24 hours, I'm struggling. I become a different person. I do.
I'm on the floor if I'm not eating and I'm getting um, ambulanced to the hospital, okay? Because what are you not doing, okay? I eat so much. I'm like not big meals. I just snack a lot. I just love eating. I love food. I've always been around good food.
I'm the same
So
way. I don't really eat meals, but I snack all day. It's like,
same. Bored, eat.
yeah.
Sleeping, just woke up from a nap, eat.
Yeah.
Driving, have snack. Like I'm big on food, so I would definitely lose 24 hours of sleep. That's no big deal.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I'm the
Yeah,
same way. All right, chat pack time. I'm going to
let's
ask you
do
a
it.
random question from the chat pack.
Let's
Let's
do
see
it.
what the fate of the chat pack leaves to Tasha. If you could put anything really unusual in your backyard for you, and it says in your friends, but I'm going to say for you and your husband to play
Okay.
in, on, or around, what uncommon thing would you put there? So uncommon thing. So not a trampoline, because that's pretty common.
Yeah, on a trampoline. Not cornhole, because that's a big thing here.
Yeah, ugh, I hate that game. I stink with
What?
it.
I suck really bad at it, but I'm convinced that I will get good at it if I just play it all the time.
Well, that's the reason why I hate it is because I suck at it.
Yeah, see, I'm too competitive to just be like, I'm too competitive.
I'm man enough to know
Um,
when I'm defeated, and for some reason, those
and
two
that is
boards and
unhealthy
the core,
masculinity, okay? That is unhealthy masculinity.
there's those two boards with those little sacks have completely defeated me. I will admit it.
Defeated you, and you have admitted defeat
I
from
have
two boards
I
and two sacks.
I have admitted
Um,
it.
well, we actually put in our backyard, we put a throwing target for axe throwing and ninja star
Ooh,
throwing.
I would say that that's
So
pretty uncommon. Yeah.
it is uncommon. You don't do that. And
No.
so Maverick built me, or just our family, a throwing target. And so we do a lot of axe throwing and ninja star throwing and knife throwing. So,
Okay. I like that. Do you know what I would do? I don't know if you know what this is. A
mhm.
Gaga pit.
A Gaga pit?
Yeah.
What the heck is that, man?
You've never heard of Gaga?
I mean, Lady Gaga?
No, not Lady Gaga. Not
Okay, I
Lady.
was
Yeah,
like,
I would.
what?
I want to put. I want to put a whole pit dedicated to Lady Gaga in my backyard.
I know.
No,
I was like, oh, come on. You love Lady Gaga.
bro. I don't. No judgment here. No,
Yeah,
there's only
seriously, I
one
don't
person who can
judge.
judge, and he's up there.
Yeah,
No.
I don't judge.
Gaga pit is a game. It's an octagon, and there's a
Hmm.
ball like a school rubber ball, and the objective of the game is to hit the person's legs. But if you hit their leg, they have to maneuver the entire octagon on one leg until you get. But you're allowed to use your hand as a shield as long as
Uh-huh.
it's not. You can't pick up the ball and throw it. So
You
it
just
has.
have to
You're
dodge
allowed.
it.
Yeah, you have to dodge it, evade. You're allowed to smack the ball away, but you can't pick it up. And yeah, so it's kind of like a game of like. Do you remember the game where
Okay.
you would like lose your arm and then you lose your arm and then you lose your leg, your other
Yeah,
arm,
yeah,
then you lose your
yeah,
leg?
yeah. Like
It's kind
ninja.
of it's kind of like Ninja, but with a
Yeah.
ball. But it's only
Okay.
your legs because after you lose your legs, if they hit your torso, you lose.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Wow.
that's
Okay,
Gaga
Gaga
Pit.
Pit.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
might
then
have to
maybe
put a
invite
Gaga
Lady
Pit.
Gaga,
Yes,
and
and
I'll
like,
invite Lady.
yes, I love it. Gaga Inception. I love it.
Yep.
Amazing.
Plug in your socials. Where can people find you and experience Tasha?
Okay, so you can find me everywhere at Tasha Jessen, and I will be releasing some music soon, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be groovy. If you want to join the ride, come along. If not, that's totally okay. I don't judge, but I would love to have you there. So, Tasha Jessen on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Okay, you can find me everywhere.
Well, get on this train now because once it takes off, choo choo, it might
It's
not pick up any
gone.
passengers. Is
It's
gone.
You're gonna be waving at it. Bye.
Well, I'm on board, Tasha, and I really appreciate you for taking time out of your day joining
Oh,
me
for
on the
sure.
pod. You are
Yes.
now joining forces. You are now a friend of the show forever. I've just sworn you in. It's kind
Yes.
of
I got knighted.
it's a bootlegged adventure. Okay.
I love it. I love Avengers, so I'll take you.
Thanks again for listening. That is going to do it for this episode of the Reyes Reflection Podcast. Don't forget to follow me on the socials at I'm Nathanael Reyes. And as always, may you live, may you love, and may you thrive. I'm Oprah as a guy, and I love you.